The animated horror story Reflection is brought to you by triplestories.com, an online platform for short stories. Julie was not just an average girl, she was fat and considered ugly in the eyes of her classmates. The school she was studying in was a little bit out of ordinary. The interior of the school was full of mirrors. All the corridors had mirrors. Every room had at least one big mirror. Having a big mirror in the classroom would not pose a problem for the students as all classrooms were air conditioned and did not have big windows. The mirrors indeed made the school a more spacious environment, but another reason was that the headmaster of the school had a great fancy for mirrors. You had to go take a look at the whole collection of antique mirrors in the headmaster's office. Julie did not really care about her appearance. Whenever she saw many of her schoolmates making friends or going out with school beauties, Julie thought to herself that beauty was skin deep only, and what was important came from within. Ironically, her parents did not think so, for they always complained that Julie was merely a lump of meat sitting on her armchair, wasting her youth on junk food and computer games. But all that began to change the day after that terrible storm. It was an extraordinary storm. It came without warning when all the students and teachers were having lessons. Not only was there a heavy downpour, countless clashes of thunder occurred over and over again, and the school suffered a temporal blackout. What's more was that the sky turned purple every time a lightning struck. The day after that, when Julie went to the washroom and looked at herself in the mirror, she was astonished. So was the rest of the girls in the washroom. Julie's reflection on the mirror appeared to be a different person. She had a pretty face. While Julie wore glasses, her reflection didn't, and her reflection has a slim, splendid figure. Could this be me? Julie said to herself, taking a careful look at her reflection. I always know that I had an inability, but this is insane. Julie brushed her hair with one hand. Her reflection followed suit, except that it was performed more smoothly and elegantly and made all the girls around her filled with wonder. When she came out of the washroom and was in the mirrored corridor, the guys who saw her reflection were immediately bewitched and began asking for Julie's contact number and autograph. And soon Julie became the most popular girl in school in an instant. What is this feeling? Julie thought to herself. She had never been in such high spirits before. But when Julie left school and went back home to have another look in the mirror, Julie became her plump, mundane-looking, bespectacled version of herself in the mirror. Perhaps all the mirrors in her school had become enchanted. Another thing to take note was that Julie failed to notice the reaction of Miss Christina Green, the head of the mathematics department. She was pale with fright when she looked at Julie's reaction, but Julie did notice a nervous tone in Miss Green's voice whenever she taught her class. This had been going on for a month. Julie's version in the mirror was still the beautiful version. Julie was still the most popular girl at school because of it, but Julie became more anxious than before. She resolved to work hard on improving her looks. The reason was that she was frustrated whenever she talked to the guys at school. They couldn't turn their eyes off her reflection. She wanted people to look at her, the real Julie, not the reflection in the mirror. Before she could begin her ultimate endeavor, an old janitor came to see her. The janitor claimed that her reflection looked exactly like the student she knew several years ago. Her name was Diana, and she was known as the princess of the school. She had always been the center of attention wherever she went, but she died falling off the school balcony. The police concluded the case was a mere accident. The janitor took one of the school's oldest annuals and flipped over to the page that had a class photo that had Diana in it. And how right she was. Diana was an exact copy of Julie's mysterious reflection. Then Julie spotted a familiar name next to Diana. It was Christina Green. Could it be that Christina Green, the head of the mathematics department? Julie said to herself. Yes, indeed, said the old janitor. I remember they were best friends. That explains the nervousness of Miss Green, thought Julie. Diana also had a handsome boyfriend. The old janitor continued. He was also very popular among girls at school and was the captain of the rugby team. However, he didn't show up at Diana's funeral or show any signs of remorse after that. That goes to show that his love for Diana was merely based on her pretty looks. Boys and men are alike. They were indeed heartless and unreliable. Despite hearing such a tragic story, Julie still continued to pursue her ideal self. She went on a diet, did more exercise than usual, learned how to apply cosmetics, and even tried wearing contact lenses. In a month, Julie was able to achieve her desired figure, and she was more than pleased at her own results when she looked at herself in the mirror at home. While Julie was admiring her complexion using her pocket mirror on her way to school, a sense of uneasiness had struck her. It wasn't the first time. Some time ago, Julie saw a reflection in the mirror at school was slightly off and she couldn't find words to put it. But back then, she brushed that sense of uneasiness aside as her schoolmates at school still admired her. However, this time, the current sense of uneasiness was too heavy to ignore. Something bad was going to happen. Julie immediately ran to her school compound, towards the washroom, ignoring all the friendly smile and greetings from her schoolmates and her teachers. Julie looked at her face in the mirror and her premonition was right. The mirror showed the fat and mundane-looking Julie like she used to be. Julie began to feel dizzy and fainted. When Julie woke up, she looked at the mirror. This time she did not find any reflections of herself in the mirror, and when she came out of the washroom, Julie noticed the wordings on the door of the washroom inverted. That's not all. Every word in billboards, posters, they were all inverted. Julie took out one of her textbooks and opened its pages. The text was inverted as well. What was scary was that she saw no one at school. Everything was silent. Where am I? Julie thought to herself. Then Julie finally spotted a person. It was Miss Green. Julie saw her entering a room and shut the door behind her. Miss Green! Julie shouted. She ran towards the room, opened the door, and saw no one, much to her astonishment. Has Miss Green vanished into thin air? Thought Julie, or was it my hallucination? Then, she could see on the other side of the mirrors, people are running towards a particular direction. Julie thought of them. They lead her to Miss Green's office. There appeared to be a commotion occurring on the other side of the mirror. Julie opened the door and walked in. There was no one there, but everything was a big mess. There were big words written in red. I hate you. Cheater. Murderer. Die. Julie looked at the mirror in the office and saw many students and teachers and even a few policemen gathered around. And there sat at the desk was the lifeless body of Miss Green, covered in blood. What's more, in the distance, within a crowd, Julie saw her reflection, or rather her ideal image being a separate entity of her own, and noticed a rather sinister smile on her face. That's the end of the story. Please feel free to upload your